Good evening and welcome to West Pregame's Weekend Review Show. We're here for week 3 of our coverage of fall Wesleyan athletics. And once again, I'm joined by Sports Information Director Brian Katten. Brian's going to be getting us caught up on all the athletic events of the past week, so we're going to turn to him now. And Brian, take it away.
Thanks once again, Michael. Always a pleasure to be here and fill people in on Wesleyan athletics. We're going to start in the water as men's women's crew got their fall head racing schedules underway. This past Sunday, just yesterday, up in Lowell, Massachusetts at the Textile River Regatta, both crews came up with some pretty strong performances. The men had two boats entered in the Club 8 event and took first and third out of the 13 crews involved. Very strong performances as Coach Phil Carney kind of split up his squads and got good performances from both. Then he kind of took a combination of 6 from the first boat with a couple from the second boat, maybe in a testing situation, and had them compete in the Open 8, and they finished second out of the 8 there in a time that was faster than the previous times. And you can't always tell that time is exactly the same because conditions do change over a few hours, but very strong performances by the men in those races. The women, almost equally strong, finishing 4th and 6th out of 17 in the Club 8 at the Textile River Regatta, and Coach Pat Tynan was very pleased with the performance by both his crews and had some good performances by the novices as well. So crew off to a really good start, and they'll be competing down in Shelton at the Housatonic this coming weekend. On to cross country, where they ran on Friday down at Lehigh in a new event for the Cardinals called the Paul Short Run. Lehigh broke it up into a couple of different divisions. Wesleyan was in the second division called the Brown Division, and they competed against some schools we would never see otherwise. We went against Pittsburgh. We went against some division, South Florida was in this race, just a very interesting collection of schools. And on the women's side, the Cardinals finished 8th out of 39 in their event, with Julia Mark once again leading the way, finishing 20th overall out of 342 runners. Just a great performance by Julia in that race, and the rest of the team complimented her very well. Cardinals women beat 3 teams ranked in the top 35 nationally during that race. So Coach John Cook very pleased with his kids' performances, and 3 of the runners, I believe, had a bit of trouble with heat and didn't run to their capabilities, so more up and coming for them. Men, a solid performance right in the middle of the pack, 17th out of 33, but 2 great individual runs by the seniors, as Brian Marsh was 9th out of 283 runners, excuse me, and Skylar Cummins 19th, both with good times for the 8K race. So again, men's, women's cross country off to decent starts as well. This was one of the races that John Crook was getting the team geared to compete in. Moving on to volleyball. Volleyball went 1 and 2 during the week, beating Western Connecticut 3-0 quite handily midweek. Then went up for a couple of matches in NESCAC play, losing to what had been the top team in the NESCAC, Bowdoin, losing that 3-0 competitive second game, or second set rather, but losing 3-0. And then surprisingly, Conn College goes up and beats Bowdoin the next day after losing to Tufts the previous day. And then the Cardinals had a better performance against Tufts, losing 3-1, taking the second set in extra play, 26-24, but playing very competitively. Kim Ferris continues to lead in kills, led all 3 matches in kills, and a great performance by the libero, Sophia Davila, who again collected about 5 digs per set, so she's moving up in the NESCAC rankings. Now we'll take a quick look at field hockey, winning a midweek game out of conference against Mount Holyoke, 3-1. Amber Bruckner with a couple of goals in that, her first ever 2-goal performance in a contest. She's a junior. Then the Cardinals ran into a buzzsaw, the number 2 ranked Middlebury Panthers, losing 4-1. And senior Ashley McLaren got the 1 goal for the Cardinals in that contest. Women's soccer had a very strong game against a very strong team in Middlebury. Middlebury ranked 8th in the country, 2nd in New England. Hadn't given up a goal in its first 6 contests. Cardinals got a goal with 20 seconds left in the first half from Claire Ashworth to cut the lead to 2-1. It stayed that way. Cardinals even in shots, played very well throughout the contest against a very formidable opponent. Men's and women's tennis both competed in ITA regional tournaments, sent 4 competitors to each. The men had a victory in doubles play from a couple of freshmen, Zach Brent and Michael, it'll come to me in a minute. Michael King won a first-round match in that. Jeff Lagun and Stephen Monk competed in singles, did not prove victorious, but played well. On the women's side, 4 competitors there as well. In doubles play, Cardinals came away 0-1 as we got decent performance from the team of Lauren Jacobs and Madison Hartley. And in singles play, it was Genevieve Aniello and Jessica Seidman getting the call to play in singles play. Who have I overlooked here? The golf team played a NESCAC qualifier. Good performance by the freshman. Once again, Paul Andrick, who had a round of 79 and an 84 for 19 over par out of 36 holes. So that's basically going pars and bogeys, and that's pretty consistent for a freshman coming in. I know we haven't spoken yet about football or men's soccer, but we have some straightforward information to give you about those, and hopefully I haven't overlooked anybody else in the course of my summary.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Now, you mentioned men's soccer as well we have coming up. They had a tough matchup this weekend against Middlebury as well. Came out on top 1-0 in a game that's usually very tough for our Wesleyan Cardinals. Right. Why don't you give us a recap of that performance and the significance of it moving forward in NESCAC play?
Well, men's soccer is now 5-1-2 overall, 3-1-1 the NESCAC. They're sitting in 5th place, but it's a very tight pack in the top 5 positions in NESCAC play. That particular contest, the two teams tied double overtime with no scoring last year in regular season play at Middlebury. Then Wesleyan drew the Panthers as a first-round opponent in NESCAC tournament play last fall and lost 3-2. So that, the Cardinals had been undefeated through their first 13 games last year and then lost to Trinity and Middlebury. Still made nationals and went 1-1 in postseason, but Middlebury always a thorn in the side, usually very, very strong defensive team. It was 1-0. Matt Herkin got the goal in the 35th minute on a great header, great serve by Noah Schlesinger to set it up. What Wesleyan is doing extremely well is playing defense. Held Middlebury to 3 shots on goal. Adam Purdy, always steady, made the 3 saves, his 5th shutout of the season, 29th of his career. Cardinals limit the opponent to very few shots, and when they are, they're not even quality shots. So this was a great performance. Cardinals are satisfied just winning by the 1-goal margin. It will still prove, as they did against Western New England earlier in the week, that 1-0 is a solid win. Right now, 8 teams in NESCAC play, 8 of the NESCAC 11 teams, are averaging less than a goal a game allowed this season. Defense is just thriving in the NESCAC, and that's just an indication of what it's all about. You can win 1-0 and dominate a game.
All right, thanks for that, Brian.